Hello and welcome. My name is Teresa, and in today's video I am going to show you how to make this beautiful Magnolia card, and it is created for the upcoming holidays. We're a little early, but it's never too early to start playing with ideas. And besides, this month I wanted to show you the versatility of this fantastic Magnolia set. This card is called Warm Winter Wishes, and it'll become very apparent as we go through. If this is your first time joining us, I would like it very much if you would show your support by subscribing to our channel. And while you're at it, go ahead and click on that bell icon right over there next to it. That way you'll be notified when we post a new video. So in the meantime, go ahead and grab yourself a drink, because who doesn't like to sip while they're stamping, and let's go ahead and get started. Let me go ahead and show you this. Now, we are using embossing folders from a couple of years ago, but it was so popular. I am sure a lot of you still have it. The name of it, oh, I should get to that in a second, but the name of this one was Cable Knit. Yes, it was Cable Knit Dynamic is what it's saying on here, but it was highly popular. Anyhow, so we did some embossing, and on the inside, when you open this card, look at that presentation. Isn't that gorgeous? It says, wishing you a Christmas season filled with joy and laughter. Now, I know Stampin' Up, and while we might not have this embossing folder available now, and while this might be a retired greeting, I know that their Christmas catalog is going to come out with wonderful things that we can use then. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and see how this was used, because look at that beautiful Magnolia. So I'm going to go through a list of the supplies you need. The first thing, of course, you need is your cardstock. You need your Whisper White, and you want it to measure 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches, and I'm going to show you where to score it. You will score it on the 8.5, and we're going to score it at 2 1/8 and 6 3/8. The next thing you're going to need is you're going to want to use Stampin' Up's Night of Navy, and you will need 2 pieces that measure 1 3/4 by 5 1/4. You also need 2 more pieces of Stampin' Up's Whisper White, and you'll want those to measure 1 1/2 by 5 inches. See, we're layering. I also need you to put aside 1 piece of Whisper White that measures 11 inches. That's going to be your band by 1 inch. You're going to need another piece of that Night of Navy, and make sure your Night of Navy measures 3 3/4 by 5 1/4. You don't even have to write this down. It's all going to be in the description below. You're going to need 1 more piece of this Whisper White that measures 3 1/2 by 5 inches, okay? And you'll need a couple other things as well. Let me go ahead and show you. We are using, like I said, this beautiful embossing folder from a couple years back. I don't even know what year. Let's see if it says. I'm not sure. All I know is I loved it so much I have it. And it is called Cable Knit. And do you see that beautiful design? Now, I feel as if this is going to work beautifully if you get our current folders, the Woodland one or even the Pinewood Planks. But today I want to show you that your Stampin' Up products are timeless. So we're going to go ahead and use this one from before. Just like the messages, certain things, they're in style 20 years ago, 20 years from now. When your grandmother was, they're timeless. So we're going to take a Christmas message from Christmas Messages. And again, this is from several years ago. And we are going to pull out the greeting that says, wishing you a Christmas season filled with joy and laughter. This is how they were back then. Isn't that something? That happens to be the one. It's like it's popping out saying, go ahead and use me, use me. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is get out your scoring tool. This is not a Stampin' Up product. This was one that my mom had, and I inherited it from her, so I'm going to use it because it's still in good condition. If you have a machine to score or a tool to score, use that. If you need one, Stampin' Up does sell them, and the link will be in the description. So take your piece of Whisper White, and on the 8.5, you want to lay that down, and the first place you want to score is at 2 1/8. I like to do it twice. Nice and light, so 2 1/8, and then you want to score it at 6 3/8. So right here on my machine, so 6 3/8. Okay, and we are done with that. So let's set that off to the side. Let's go ahead and fold it. See, this is the beauty of that scoring. It just helps you get that fold started. Nice and gentle. use your boning tool. It will come, I believe they come with the machines. If they don't, if you just need the boning tool, those are sold separately. Let's go ahead and push that down. So we're starting to build. See that? Pop that over. And there we go. So we have our base. We can go ahead at this time and build our center. So what we want to do is we want to take your Night of Navy, the one that measures 3 3/4 by 5 1/4, and go ahead and use your Tombow liquid glue, or you can use the fuse tape, any of the adhesives, they work fine. I do kind of like the liquid glue whenever possible because it gives you just a second or two to shift it if you need to. And I tend to need to. My eyeballing probably isn't as good as yours. So just kind of eyeball that down. See? This gives me that little bit of wiggle room if I'm not 100% happy with it. Boom. So I can get that done. The other thing I can do is on the outside, because these aren't embossed, I can put down my 2 pieces of Night of Navy. You know, get your Night of Navy. It measures 1 3/4 by 5 1/4. And while that sets up, we're going to deal with our embossing. So again, I am using a retired embossing folder, but I highly recommend that you either wait till the Christmas one comes out or go ahead and get the Woodland one or the Pinewood Planks. Go ahead and sneak over and take a peek at that after this video because I believe you're gonna love it. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna place this down right in there, and I'm going to take this over to my Big Shot. I'm gonna run it through. I'm also going to do these outer 2 pieces, and I will be right back. Okay, so all of my pieces have been run through through the Big Shot machine. Let's pull them out. There we go, and just set that off to the side. We can go ahead now with this. When you have a heavily embossed piece of paper, you do want to use the liquid glue because you want it to set down into those nooks and crannies. We want to work on, there's a couple more things we have that to do as well. Let's go ahead and do our sentiment. So with your scrap sheet of white paper, take your sentiment and put it on one of our acrylic blocks. Oops, something I was working on. And you want to just stamp it up with some of that black Memento ink that you have. I like to apply a little pressure. That looks very good. And for the dies, I'm going to pull out the 2 pieces I have to run through the die cutter. Taking them from Stitched So Sweetly, I want the very big one. You'll want to use that to cut out your Night of Navy. And then the very next one, oops, we'll cut out the Christmas Wishes. Okay, now when you want to make sure that this doesn't move, there is a little secret. Let's put it on the right way first of all. We want that to press into it. Want to really line it up to where it's where you want it to be. And then go ahead and grab a Post-it note and go right into it. It's fine. It will be fine. I promise you. Right into it. And then I'll take this one over and we'll run it through our Big Shot and we'll cut these out. Be right back. Okay, so I want to get everything that we need, and I definitely know that we want to get the huge Magnolia from our Good Morning Magnolia set, as well as the cutting die, which we'll put off to the side. I do not want to mount this on a, reaching over you, I don't want to mount that onto an acrylic block. Instead, I'm going to use what is called a positioning tool. Now, mine, full disclosure, is not from Stampin' Up. Like I told you, I inherited, or maybe I didn't tell you in this video, maybe it was another one. I inherited some supplies when my mother passed. She and I were doing stamping classes and card making classes and stuff like that. Anyhow, and one of the things I did get from her was her positioning tool. If you have one, use that. If you don't have one and you need one, we do at Stampin' Up! Have one called the Stamparatus, okay? And it's very similar. They work very, very similar. What you do is you'll put down your piece of Whisper White, and you're going to position your magnolia leaf where you want it, okay? So I'm going to put mine right here in the lower right-hand corner, making sure you can see. Clear my spot. Now, when you close it, it will pick up your stamp, just like that, okay? I like to do it twofold. First, I like to apply a black ink. I do like to do a base color, okay? So take some black ink, and what you'll do is you'll apply it, just like that. Isn't that pretty? Let's say you weren't happy with the ink, you can always, maybe you feel that's a little too light, you can ink up your stamp a little bit more in that area. And because nothing's moved, your positioning tool keeps it in place. Apply just a little bit of pressure because it is a large stamp, and look at the difference. Now I do like to give it just a second to dry. It doesn't matter whose. So in the meantime, let's go ahead and get the blends that you'll need. These are, I've said it before and I'll say it again, I love them. I'm so glad I have them. I don't have a lot of sets, but I am increasing my inventory. You want the Granny Apple combo. You'll get a light one and a dark one. And the other one I used was Seaside Spray. I'm grabbing those, and we'll use the light and the dark. It looks like a Daffodil Delight. You don't need both of them, but they do come in a set, and I think it's the lighter one I used. And my Soft Suede. And again, they come as a set, so the light and the dark. So we're going to start. Now this one, my piece can come off, so I'm just going to lift that up so I don't mess it up. Just set that off to the side right now. And the first thing I'm going to do is use my light Granny Apple Green, and I'm going to color in my leaves. Then, using my the light Seaside Spray, I'm going to start filling in the petals of the flower. Look at that, isn't that pretty? Now, the next thing you want to do is go ahead and position if yours comes off, take it off. I'm not sure which one you're using, and if it doesn't, then just get it ready, because now what you want to do is you want to get your Versamark. This is the important part of it, and you want to get your heat tool set. So let me get those things lined up because I don't have that plugged in. So let me do that and I'll be right back. Okay, so I have everything in place for us. So you definitely want to use the Versamark. Now what you want to do is take your embossing powder. I just keep it in a little plastic tub. Scoop some out. See, that's all tapped off. I don't worry about it on the outside because what we're going to do, I have to close this embossing powder, sorry. Because otherwise, that cat will pick the most inopportune time to jump up. I don't worry about the embossing powder being outside of the image because we are going to die cut it. So that's not a concern for me. Okay, look. Ooh. Okay. We are so close to being done. Now what you want to do is you want to take your die and you're just going to position it right over that flower. Okay, so I have that cut out, and again, I want you to see that using Post-it notes is perfectly fine. It doesn't ruin anything. There we go. Look how much we have done. the only thing we have left to do is to finish assembling the belly band, and it is much easier than you think. So take out that Whisper White piece that you cut 11 by 1 inch. Get your card back, and the first thing you want to do is you want to just do a nice fold to where it comes about, just to the outside of it, I guess. Let's see. About there. And you can do a nice tight fold there. That's fine. That is perfectly fine. But then when you come over, if you pull it really tight, it's going to have a hard time slipping on and off. So think of it as if it's your belt and you're going for Thanksgiving dinner. Now, you know, if you wear it to where it fits exactly those pants, you're going to be hurting after you eat your Thanksgiving meal. So instead of wearing the pants that fit when you don't eat, go ahead and put on your pants that are a little looser. So make this to where there's a little bit more give there. And that's what you want to use. So at this point, I'm going to peel it back. I'm going to put a glue dot down. Not that one, that's a tiny one. I don't want a tiny glue dot. I want a nice big round glue dot. And we're going to pop that right on this piece here. And again, we're going to position this one to where it's not a skin tight fit, it's a more loose fit. And just pop that down, see? Peel this back up, take a pair of scissors. Okay, found the scissors, so what you want to do is just kind of cut that in close. It will be covered by your Magnolia. Pop that into my scrap bin. Now you're going to do some eyeballing. See, look how beautiful that is. So what I do again is I kind of put my fingers where I know I don't want it to go further. So keeping there, I'm going to take some glue. And look at that. I do need to give that a second to dry. So let's put this one back together so we can do a side-by-side comparison. Look at that. Look at what we did. Look, 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 look. See, this stamp set is just so versatile. Look at that. You can even use it for the holidays. Isn't that wonderful? It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. If you enjoyed this video, there are 3 things you can do to show your support. Number 1, subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so already. Number 2, give us a thumbs up. And number 3, click on that bell icon. That way you're notified when we post a new video. Take time for yourself, find a passion, indulge, and be sure to share your creations with other people. Spread the joy. Take care, and until next time.